One move that can end any fight. I'm talking UFC, I'm talking WWE, I'm talking any form of combat sport that involves wrestling. It's called the Sprawl, and it is stuffing the takedown. If you look at some of the biggest names in combat sports history, they use this move to perfection. But what makes this so great is when to use it. Because if you time this wrong or don't read the situation correctly, this move could actually cost you the fight. So let's break it down. Let's start with the most important point about the Sprawl, which is when to do it. And the answer is simple. The Sprawl is the first line of defense against a wrestler. In other words, it's the first thing you have to do to stop someone from taking you down. If you wait too long and the wrestler gets his arms inside, then it's a pretty much guarantee you're going to get taken down. In fact, if you're a striker and you let a wrestler get his arms inside and take you down, well, there's no easy way to say this, but you kind of just suck because the no. One rule of fighting is keeping the fight standing. That's where you want to be. Because if you end up on the mat with a wrestler, chances are he's going to dominate you. That's why the first rule is to stuff those takedowns. And the second rule is timing. Can't do it too early because you'll get caught. For example, you can see this guy throws a wild punch, and as soon as that arm comes back, the guy shoots for a single leg. Now if you sprawl here, you're going to get absolutely crushed. The guy even said, "Watch out for the counter punch." However, if he would have waited another second, then he would have seen our guy drop his hands and he could have sprawled. Timing is everything, because once you drop your hands, I'm sorry, but your fate is sealed. But as you saw, if you time it right and you sprawl, the guy doesn't know what to do. He just ends up tapping on the mat. But now let me show you how the best do it, because this changes depending on what style of fighting you're redoing. First, we got to look at the king of the Sprawl himself, Chuck Liddell. Now the reason why Chuck was so good at this is because of two things. No. One, he had incredible timing. And no. Two, he had an explosive, powerful movement. For example, if you look at this match against Randy Couture, Liddell just waits for Couture to shoot, and as soon as he does, boom, he sprawls and drives him back. There's not even a mat for this guy. Why? Because Liddell was so explosive. But the best part about this is that Liddell didn't just sprawl. He used his hands to push Couture away and then just knock him out. Timing and explosion, that's the key. Now watch how Liddell does it against Vitor Belfort. Once again, Belfort shoots and he sprawls. But notice how he pushes off with both hands and explodes through. That's the key to stuffing a takedown. You got to use your legs and drive forward. If you just sit back, then the guy can easily drive through and take you down. But when you push off and drive forward, well, there's nothing he can do about it. You can see here that Belfort is trying to stay on top and control the position, but Liddell is just way too strong. That's why they call him the Iceman. By the way, if you're enjoying this, don't forget to hit the like button because it really helps the channel. Thanks, guys. So that's the striker version. But what about the wrestlers? Well, we got to look at someone who is known as the greatest striker in the history of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And that's why he was such a dominant champion, because he did this move to perfection. I'm talking about none other than Jose Aldo. Now, when Jose Aldo would defend, he wasn't trying to stuff the takedown. He was literally trying to block the entire takedown from happening. That's why you never see him shoot for a single leg or try to tie up the legs. That's for the wrestlers. Instead, he was all about stopping the takedown with the most amount of force possible. Now, what's the opposite of a single leg? Well, it's a double leg, of course. So instead of shooting for a single, he's shooting for a double. And if you notice, he doesn't try to grab a leg. He's literally trying to go for the hips. And that is what causes the explosion. It's almost like a battering ram, because when he hits those hips, there's no room for the opponent to move. They're literally stuck in place. And that's when he drives those knees into the mat. Now, some people might think this is dirty, but guess what? It's not. It's not a low blow if it lands on the hips. But the best part about this is that you don't need to rely on knockout power. Sure, if you can knock someone out, that's amazing. But Jose Aldo didn't have the hardest punch in the division, but he still became a dominant champion because of this. You can see here he puts the guy in a front headlock and then hits him with the knee. And even though the guy was a wrestler, there was nothing he could do about it. Now, if you notice, I haven't shown you guys a bad example yet. That's because it's hard to find footage of someone missing this. But if you're wondering what it looks like, just imagine everything I just showed you, but the guy misses. And trust me, it's ugly. You can see here that this guy tries to do the sprawl, but he doesn't time it correctly. So when he drops for the sprawl, the guy just walks through and takes him down. This guy has no idea what to do. It's the worst thing about missing the sprawl. You basically give up the fight. If you miss the sprawl and get taken down, well, your fate is sealed. You might as well just go ahead and tap, because there's nothing else you can do. You can see this guy keeps trying to get back up, but the damage is already done. It's already in the guard, and the wrestler can do whatever he wants. I mean, come on, this guy is literally smashing him with elbows. If you're ever in this position, you're probably better off just tapping out. Now, the last example I want to show you is the greatest of all time. When it comes to the sprawl, that's right. We're talking about none other than Khabib Nurmagomedov. Now, the reason why he's the greatest at this is because he combines the two versions I just showed you. Not only does he have incredible timing and explosion, but he also does an amazing job at setting it up. For example, if you notice, he does this little shoulder check right before he shoots. And this tells his opponent that he's going for a takedown, but it also sets up his sprawl because his opponent reacts to the shoulder check. But if you notice, while they react, that's when he drives for the sprawl. You can see here that he does the shoulder check, and when the guy reacts, he drives forward and just blasts him with the knees. This guy didn't stand a chance. Now, it's important to note that not every wrestler does this, but the ones that do, it's lights out. Now, if you combine this with a powerful striking game, then you become unstoppable. Because if you hurt the guy and he tries to run away, then you can easily catch him with the sprawl. And when you do that, you can do something Khabib would do, which is follow up with punches while he's sprawled out. You can see here that he hits the guy with a punch, but then he immediately starts unloading. Now, if you time this correctly, then the fight is over. Right? But the best way to do this is to have a powerful left hook. That way you can stun the guy, break his posture, and follow up with some heavy shots. So if you want to take your fighting to the next level, then you have to learn the art of the sprawl. And if you want to learn more, check out the videos on the screen. Thanks for watching.